Everyone, remain calm.
Back for more, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
Somebody talk to me! What is happening?
Welcome to Jurassic World.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Jurassic Park Podcast.
How long is it going to take for that to spread around the globe?
This was all John Hammond's dream. Hold on to your butts.
Seriously? Well, we're back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 192nd episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Jost, and we're here to discuss all things Jurassic Park. I hope you guys have had a chance to catch your breath over the past week. It's been a little insane for Jurassic fans. I am excited to get this week started off. We'll see if anything else Jurassic pops up later on, but in this episode, we've got some news to relay from last week, so stay tuned for that. It's all going to be regarding the animated series, which I'm sure you've all heard about, and some merchandise stuff. After that, we have the return of Jaye Jurassick with Amber Finds, Hunters and Gatherers. Now, this isn't your standard Amber Finds. This is the Hunters and Gatherers edition, where Jaye brings in somebody from the Jurassic Park collecting community to discuss their collecting. Now, today, he brings on the awesome community member, Jurassic Dave. You all probably know him from his fantastic Instagram or Twitter with his wonderful toy photography. So he is at Jurassic Dave 93 on Instagram, I think on Twitter as well. But we're going to hear them reminisce about the past and, of course, fawn over the present. So don't miss that one. It's a great conversation. I think you'll enjoy it. But that's it for you. So that's this episode. And before we get this one started off, we have some business to take care of. Now, last week, I'm sure you saw our feed here on the podcast feed was a little overwhelming. I think within the first 2 or 3 days of the week, we had 3 episodes posted. We had an amazing look at Jurassic World Evolution. Now, it feels like a year ago when this all happened because so much stuff happened last week. But Steve and Tom actually went out to Frontier to go visit them and see what was going on. And they got a lot of information about Jurassic World Evolution and the updates, Claire's Sanctuary, among other things. So make sure to listen to that episode. We also did a full episode on Camp Cretaceous. So that was a lot of fun. We had myself, Aaron Beyer, and Veronica Saldana. So she joined us for a bonus episode talking all about the animated TV show that's coming in 2020. I'm trying to remember all this information on the fly because it's not in my notes. But that was a great episode. I had a lot of fun recording that one. And of course, we did the mailbag last week as well. So that's like 2 hours on its own, plus these other probably 2 hours worth of episodes. So that's a lot of content for you guys. And of course, we released articles for both of those bonus episodes as well, so you can follow up on all the information. Now, over on YouTube, we did have a few things going on. So we had, of course, this is going to be all repeating information, but Jurassic World Evolution news. Tom did a video for that. We also did our full discussion podcast episode on YouTube. We also did that same thing for the animated series. We even posted the trailer there. And then we also had part 4 of our look at Jurassic World live tour. So we went to that press day back in April now. Man, it's been a while. And we got a look at all the stuff that they were revealing as far as Jurassic World live tour is concerned. And in part 4, we actually discussed the Dino Tears. So all the actors and people involved in the show, they basically call them Dino Tears when they're, when they become a dinosaur. So they showed us the ins and outs of all that, and actually let me wear it's just a weight vest to simulate how much weight that these actors have to harness on top of their shoulders. And they only gave me half the weight, and it was a lot. So they do a ton of work out there. So we actually learned a lot from James Shea, David Dersch, and I almost said Jaye Jurassick, Jay Christensen. So yeah, the 3 of them came together for that presentation. And then we also uploaded Jay Christensen and David Dersch They did one of those like quick interview things for us, which you guys probably heard already on the podcast, but we have the video edition online now, so go check that out as well. So yeah, it was a pretty filled week last week as far as Jurassic's concerned. We tried to cover it as best as we could. I actually just got a new computer, so it took me a little bit to get things like get my workflow all situated again. So now I'm back in it, so I'm going to have more and more content for you guys. I'm excited by that. But as for what's on tap this week, who knows? It's going to be a lot of random stuff, I'm sure, so I'm excited to get it out to you. But that's it for the intro. Why don't we go ahead and get this episode kicked off with a bit of Jurassic news from around the world.
18 minutes and your company catches up on 10 years of research.
Access rate program. Access security.
These pictures were taken in hospital in Costa Rica 48 hours ago.
I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but look.
Boy, my head being right all the time.
It's Dave. I guarantee it.
All right, so of course, I gotta mention Camp Cretaceous. I think it just so happened to come out either the same day that I released the mailbag, which was like a day late last week, or it was like the day after, and I didn't get to cover it in last episode. But of course we did release that full bonus episode. But if you didn't get a chance to listen to it or don't know what I'm talking about, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous was revealed last week. It's going to be a new Netflix show. We don't know how many episodes or anything just yet, but it's going to be popping up in 2020. It's being produced by DreamWorks. So NBC Universal now owns DreamWorks, so they're producing this content for them. And we first got a look at an amazing-looking image that has very retro-inspired Jurassic World gates, but it looks like the Jurassic Park kind of styles and stuff like that. So that was there. It had a few kids in front of it. There were 6 kids there. Amazing-looking atmosphere behind the gates and everything. And then we got another look at like a teaser trailer with a Velociraptor that looked eerily like which one was it now? Charlie? I think it was Charlie. I know a lot of people are saying Delta, but I just don't see Delta. The striping is a lot different actually than Delta. So I think it was Charlie actually, but was it Charlie? Yeah. All on the fly here. That's how we're doing the show now since the return. But Camp Cretaceous looks awesome. I'm very excited by it. All the people behind the scenes are saying great things, that it's coming out great and all that. So I'm very excited to see what they produce. Like I said earlier in the show, we do have a full podcast episode. We've got an article on it. So if you didn't get all the information, I'm not going to spill it all again here, but go check that all out. It's going to be amazing. I'm very excited. I hope all of you are going to tune into Netflix and pay a subscription fee, do whatever you got to do to get your Netflix account up and running, because Camp Cretaceous is coming 2020. Next up here in the news, I quickly wanted to mention something about the Licensing Expo. So recently, Universal took part in the Licensing Expo. I believe it was out in like Las Vegas or something. I think it's always out there. But they show off all kinds of brand stuff for everything out there. So Universal came and provided some looks, I guess, at some of their merchandise and some other things, and they did reveal a logo of sorts. It was just basically like the Jurassic World logo, and it said new film coming 6/11/2021. So nothing we didn't know before. I know a lot of people were expecting some big things to come out of this expo, but I really wouldn't say anything big. Maybe this is all centered around the big push from last week, but I don't think so. But it was interesting to at least see them providing imagery like that. There was a lot of looks at like the T-Rex and different stuff like that. So it was all just repeat stuff. They did have on display some toys. I didn't get a good look myself, but there was a lot of boxed Jurassic World toys, some Lego stuff, some sticker books, and another book, I think. And then we had the Brachiosaurus on display. So they actually had the full Brachiosaurus up on the wall there, which was incredible. And then last week, we also did get a look at the box art and another good shot from Brit Shots over on Twitter. No, sorry, not Twitter, Instagram. But I'm losing it here already. But while she's no longer working on the Jurassic World brand, she did showcase a quick look at that box art. But later in the week, I think it actually was fully revealed, and we had some nice promo images and stuff like that popped up. So if you guys did not get to see the box art for the Brachiosaurus, it is incredible. It's like a nice artistic rendering of that scene from Jurassic Park with Grant on the ground, Ellie staring, looking at the Brachiosaurus, John Hammond next to her, and in the background you have the Parasaurolophus and the Brachiosaurus in the water, and then you have the main Brachiosaurus right there in the center of the box art, kind of almost eating off the limbs of the trees up top. And they got this nice vivid red Jurassic World Legacy Collection logo, and the size chart, it looks like 106 centimeters, 42 inches. It's a massive, massive toy, and there's also a little picture of a kid playing with the toy there and just showcasing how big it is. It looks so good. And then they also did reveal a few other promo images and stuff like that, like kids playing with it in like a backyard setting, showcasing that the legs can move. The head's actually got a full range of motion. It goes all the way to the ground, and all the way up, and then it goes side to side as well, which is, I wasn't expecting that. And then there's also like a tail motion as well. Now, I don't think any of these are button activated motions, but I think they're just motions for you to move on your own. And I know somebody was asking about sounds and stuff like that. I don't believe there will be any sounds, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there isn't. But don't quote me on it just yet, but I'm pretty positive. But yeah, that was an amazing look at the Brachiosaurus, but that wasn't it. We actually did get a look at the new Spinosaurus, what do you call it, battle damage version, and it looks pretty interesting. So we've known for a little bit here that we're getting a new Spinosaurus toy. Same scale and everything, it seems, as the previous one that was released and kind of impossible to get from Target, since they only released it in very, very small batches. So people have been wondering and clamoring for more from the Spinosaurus, and now we're getting it in a very odd incarnation, I guess you could say. So like I said, it looks identical as far as the sculpt is concerned, except for one feature, but it's got this very, I don't even know what kind of blue you would call this, but the main color on this body is a very light blue. It's not really my thing. It's not like the Suchomimus. That's a very nice, vivid, darker blue. This is like a nice, it's a very light blue. And then it has what looks to be some tan on top of it and on the legs and such. And then on the very top, going from the nose down the back over the spine, is a very, lighter tan color. So it just isn't really doing it for me. I don't really like this one too much just yet. But who knows? A lot of that changes. I know I didn't really like the Suchomimus at first, but now I love that thing. So as of right now, I'm not really into this color scheme. I'm not sure why they had to go so interesting with a figure that people are really excited for and did not get their chance at buying last time around. So I'm a little concerned with that, but there is the added button on the spine, which actually activates a battle damage feature. So this is a pretty intense looking battle damage feature that's on here. So I know a lot of people are hit and miss when it comes to battle damage, but it has the skin portion that pops off. Then it kind of just, it doesn't pop off fully, I don't think, but it kind of just hangs down. And then there's also a second piece that hangs down, which is the rib cage, just kind of cracks apart and hangs down as well. And then there's also a rotating feature, which I'm not really sure what it is. It looks kind of gooey. It looks kind of like you can hit it and press it. I don't know. Don't quote me on that either. But it looks kind of gooey and soft. So I don't know. For some reason, it might spin. I don't really know what that's about. It has these arrows on the promo images. So who knows? But I think it's an interesting addition. I don't know if I will be picking it up, but I know people will be, grabbing this as soon as they can. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's just not my cup of tea. So if you guys want to get a look at it, I'm sure we'll have it in the show notes. But Let me know what you think. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about this. Actually, while I'm doing this, I remember I put up a poll on Instagram. So this is happening on the fly. Let me see. How do I do this? How do I bring up my open archive? I'm going to see, because I put up a poll on Instagram stories where I put up, first I put like, do you like the Brachiosaurus? I put a picture of the toy, and people voted 100% Brachiosaurus. They like the Brachiosaurus. The next one I put up was, do you like the new Spino? And we got 68% said yes. So that's pretty decent. 68% of you are into the idea of this Spinosaurus, with 32% that said no. So I think it's safe to say that people are interested, and if they don't have their chance at buying the other version, which I think is the definitive version, then this is going to be the one to get. So it's up in the air, but I think this one will probably sell well, even though it's not my favorite, paint job. But as always, if you want to get a look at any of these things that I've mentioned here in the news, make sure to head to our show notes to check them all out. Oh, and P.S., it looks like there was a leaked Lego set floating around on the internet, so keep your eyes peeled. Something out there. I don't know what to think yet. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Who's got some change? He takes quarters. I got a buck 10.
How'd you get it?
You don't want to know. Her name, we got it.
Where did you get that?
I got it on eBay.
When they're expensive, put them back.
He's a digger.
Muchacho, vete on the loose. I had promised to conduct a very thorough on-site inspection.
And get stuck in the sand.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I got it for $150,
But we'll pay it. And then there's the merchandise. I can personally...
Donald, this park was not built to cater only for the super rich.
that first park was legit.
I could write all kinds of numbers on this check.
Remember that on InGen's list?
It's because it wasn't on their list.
This fossilized tree sample, which we call amber.
And we came here to watch. You came to strip mine the place.
When you put together, one group of harvesters called the hunters.
My point is the predators don't hunt when they're not hungry.
Steven said, I think this movie's about hunters versus gatherers. Hunters versus gatherers versus hunters versus gatherers versus...
Oh, you're breaking our heart. Saddle up. Let's get this movable feast underway.
Hey, Jurassic fans. It's been a while since we did another Hunter-Gatherers show, episode of a special of the Amber Finds, like a little segment off the Amber Finds main segment. And today we have a very special guest, one of the awesome faces of the Jurassic Park community and prime collector, Mr. Jurassic Dave. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Jay. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be talking some Jurassic Park tonight. It's going to be cool.
Oh, yeah, man. Can't wait. Can't wait to see what you got going on with the collection and how you feel about all these toys and stuff.
Yeah, it's been growing a lot the last year, as I think everyone's has been.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Our wallets have been hurting. I know that. All right, so, Brad likes to do his question about velociraptors in a kitchen, which is way more exciting question than mine, but I like to ask every collector on this segment, are you a hunter or are you a gatherer? Do you go out there actively hunting toys down with your binoculars, go in there with your InGen Jeep and just ram right through the toy store and just get in there?
Make things a lot easier.
It would, right? Or do you, wait on Amazon for something to pop up, or have a friend get something for you, or just wait on the sidelines? Hunter or gatherer? What are you, Dave?
I'm not really sure. I'm definitely not a hunter. Like, I'm not savage or anything, going out there and pushing little kids who are trying to get into raptors or something like that. But I guess I'm a gatherer, but I'd like to be there in person and see if I can get it in the store first. And I don't generally put out any pre-orders or anything. And I usually only resort to buying online if I absolutely can't find it in the store, at least for the new stuff anyway. But then I'm pretty active for old and vintage stuff on eBay lots, but I'm kind of lazy when it comes to purchasing off of eBay. Like, I've definitely, to my detriment, have let some deals pass me by just because I can't click that buy it now button or place a bid or whatever. I lost out. So I guess I gather, but yeah.
Gather it like a mix of both,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I like to say I'm the same. I will hunt stuff down, and I will patiently wait for some stuff. And that's happened with me too with the eBay. I'll have it in you put it on like the watch list.
Oh yeah.
And it'll send you a reminder, and then I'm like, I don't know.
I'm getting those emails like every night, like auction ends in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Some like can't afford it now. Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, exactly. That's what's happening with me. I'm like, okay, priorities. You have to do stuff for your car and life and food. You need food to keep living, so that you can collect.
So you can feed the dinos.
Yes, exactly. Everything ends, and so you can collect more. You need to do this so you can get more.
Yeah. I definitely wait sometimes on the new stuff almost a little bit too long. I like to try to find those like clearance deals a lot. And I almost missed out on the battle damage Mattel T-Rex. And I'm like on there checking BrickSeek and seeing that the price is dropping. And all of a sudden I'm seeing, they're 25% off, 50% off. Going to my local store, seeing that there's some in, and then I'll go in and they won't be there. And I was like, oh no. And I happened to actually purchase it at full price later on. So waiting didn't save me anything.
Yeah, there's certain things that I wouldn't. I'm kind of good at knowing what's gonna like be what looks like to be rare, in time.
Yeah.
Pretty good at guessing that. Sometimes I'm not. There's certain things I'm like, oh wow, I can't find that red Herrerasaurus anywhere. I passed that up. I saw it once at a Target, and I was like, not today, and that's it. I've never seen it again.
Yeah, I know.
And I like the coloration. I got the green one and the battle damage one, but that red looked really cool on it. But even though it's a weird looking sculpt.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It reminds me of the Series 1 Dimetrodon from Jurassic Park. That was like my first toy. Anything that's goofy like that, like the Mattel Metracanthosaurus, I like. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like them, but they have like a sweet spot in my heart. Those ugly ones.
I love that Metracanthosaurus. I really do. I was actually talking to my friend Matt Brando, and I was telling him how I love the sculpt on that thing with the not the exact shape of the dinosaur, because it's very how would I say,
hunched, like
retro.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds you like the old drawings from like the early days of paleontology. Like the Megasaurus or the Megalosaurus that they used to draw all the time, kind of hunched over with the tail kind of dragging a little bit. But if you look on like the back on its back, it has all these pebbling and like beautiful scaling, and it's so well done. Same thing with the Allosaurus. The Allosaurus was one that I passed up a bunch of times, and then one day I saw it when they like kind of got reissued, like they were coming out again
back in the fall.
And I was like, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pass it up this time. And I got it, and I was like, wow, I love this figure. It's weird. It's like some of them you pass up at first, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, and they become kind of a sweet spot for you. You're like, oh, there it is. I'm getting it this time.
It's a fun feeling when you come around the corner and that's that one you've been looking for, and it's just sitting right there on the peg.
Oh, that's what I dream. The ride home from work, that's all I'm
I used to have dreams until I started collecting again, that there would be like Jurassic Park toys just to be there in the store again for me to buy, I think it was my subconscious telling me or something, like get back into it or something.
That has to be a Jurassic Park fan like common dream, because I had that dream. I've had the dream where like I walk into a Kmart of all places, because there's barely any of them left now. That's where I got most of my collection in the beginning. It's my grandmother used to go there all the time, and I walk into a Kmart and the aisle is full of vintage Jurassic. Like I'm this age, but like I'm seeing it from like my 6-year-old self, and I'm walking into that aisle and I'm like, I can complete it now. I can complete the collection. Like it's like this dream that every once in a while comes up. And if you're having a dream like that, I know there's others probably having dreams like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that Kmart, that was my go-to place for Lost World back in the day.
Mine was Ames. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Ames
there was
and
one near
Jamesway?
me, yeah.
They're still around?
Really?
Wow. They're not around here.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in years.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, all right.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I was like, wait, they're still around? All right.
Still dreaming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So why is it that you love Jurassic Park?
I think it goes back to most of us as kids loved dinosaurs, right? I know maybe a year or two before Jurassic Park, because I was like 7 when it came out. Go to the library, and I was just interested in checking out the books, and seeing like those old drawings we were just talking about. But what really got me into it was my grandma, my Grammy, my dad's side used to get us presents all the time when we were little kids. Grandmas, and I think it was like an Easter gift, because I have a fall birthday, and she would get us, any holiday getting a gift. And it was that year, 93, I got Alan Grant and the Dimetrodon. I think it was an Easter gift or something, and I had no idea what Jurassic Park was. I opened this up, and I'm like, what is this? And just seeing that dinosaur and that Alan Grant figure with like the net catcher and the nuclear bomb, and it just got my imagination rolling. Like, what is this place? People and dinosaurs, like, because like those books that I would check out at the library, people didn't exist with dinosaurs, and that caught my imagination, seeing those toys for the first time and holding them.
That's incredible, because that's what it was. That line was that important. And what also captures like it's just the packaging, that red and that black with the sunset, the palm trees, and you're like, where is this happening? That there's a person walking around with a nuclear bomb and with dinosaurs around, and that Dimetrodon is one of my favorite sculpts from Kenner of the toys. It's so great. Like, if you look at it, like they sculpted the inside of its mouth. Yeah. Like the upper palate of its mouth has like this like bulge. It's weird, but it has the veins, oh man, it's incredible. Yeah. And I remember, I would draw them, and that was like one of my favorites to draw. Oh man, that's exactly what those toys did.
Yeah, they were so great. I used to study those things, playing with them when I was a kid. Obviously, the new Mattel stuff, I'm a dad now, and I'm not playing with them myself in the same way as the old Kenner stuff. But I used to sit there and stare at that inside of the mouth, and it had, sculpted in where the teeth go up into the upper jaw, and it was so awesome, just the detail put into those Kenner toys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So that's what propelled you into the love for Jurassic Park, huh?
I never saw the movie in the theaters. My parents were pretty strict conservative. It was too scary, too violent. You're not going to see it. And those toys were what Jurassic Park was for me for probably a year and a half, 2 years, until I got to see it. I think I saw it on Jurassic Park on TV for the first time. It was on like NBC for like a Sunday night movie or something back in the day.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I knew what it was, and I had seen clips and commercials, and I had the toys, and I loved it without seeing the movie for like the longest time, till I was probably like 10.
Yeah, I eventually saw it when it came out on VHS.
Yeah.
And, it was like a year or something later that it came out on VHS. It was a while.
Yeah.
It came out in October.
Yeah, it was in the theaters for like over a year, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was. It was because a lot of those movies back then, like the big blockbusters, they would keep them around for a while. Yeah. Because it wasn't like, now they announce a movie. Let's say like I'm not gonna say any spoilers. I haven't even seen it. Endgame, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You'll have Endgame, right? And then they're already showing you the box art for the DVD or for the Blu-ray. It's mind-boggling, because it's like, wow, it'll be out in like a month or two, But back then it was like, you had to wait, and either it was like a big event. Oh, there goes my phone. Forgot to turn that off. That's my professionalism. Sorry, Brad. You would either have to wait for it to come on TV, and it'd be like a big event. I remember when they did that with Lost World, where they said they were going to add the the deleted scenes, and I recorded it on a VHS. I put a VHS in, and I had that's how I had the deleted scenes for years. You know?
Yeah, I did that with a lot of movies.
Yeah, right.
Like Disney Channel stuff coming on, you tape it on the free preview weekend.
Yeah, because you never knew when you would see it again.
Mm-hmm.
You never knew. It's not like today where you can buy movies or download something off of YouTube, or you go on, Amazon Prime, and they'll have like the episode that you're looking for, and you just buy it for like $2 or something.
Yeah. When you're a kid, a year is like forever. You almost forget some of those movies came out, like Batman Returns or something, right? And you're like, Batman. And then like a year and a half later, it's on VHS, and you're like, oh yeah, that movie I loved.
Yeah, that goes to show the longevity and the impact that Jurassic Park had on our lives when we were young, because they were pumping us full of like a bunch of different stuff. They had us, they'd thrown Batman, Ninja Turtles, this and that. Like every other week, there was something new for kids, Like around the early 90s, we had Ninja Turtles, we had Batman animated series, we had Batman movies. So we had two different types of Batman coming out, So you had animated series toys, which I had.
Me too.
And right. And like the Batman Returns toys, the ones with Penguin with the missiles.
Dude, I had all that stuff too. Ninja Turtles, Real Ghostbusters, all that stuff. But for whatever reason, just Jurassic Park always stuck with me, and they're so important to me to this day yet. And the other toys, I still have them and stuff, but just not as important to me as Jurassic Park.
Exactly. That's the it factor right there. That's the thing. How is it that toy, just that franchise just stick with us for so long?
Yeah.
And it goes to show you how much this community loves this franchise, for the fact that like all these other ones were with us around the same time. And some of them, there are people there that are still fans of some of these franchises. I still like Batman, but I can honestly say I don't have any of the toys. I don't have any of the stuff that I had when I was a kid of Batman. I have like the movies, and I have like some bobbleheads of like the Dark Knight, and those were a gift. I didn't even actively go out and get them.
Well, the Jurassic stuff was just so, at the time, was so realistic. The real feel skin and like the sculpt and the pebbles, and and then they had like what at the time was considered scientific, where they weren't dragging tails, or tails were straight out. And we had never seen anything like that. Dinosaur toys that I had before that were just not posable, statues. Basically, you get it like a museum gift shop or something, right?
Yeah, basically. It was used to get these from Kmart. It was like these packs. They would come with like different dinosaurs in it. They were like a T-Rex and Iguanodon, and they were all rendered from old drawings and didn't have that. They looked like basically reptiles dragging their tails and stuff. And I remember having those, and those were like my first dinosaur toys before I started getting these Jurassic toys. And sadly, those toys became like the carcasses.
Put them in the bull T-Rex, right?
They became, some of them, I actually still have some of them, and I keep them around. There's one actually I have on my desk always. It's a Triceratops, and it was cool because it came the Triceratops statue and the fossils, like of the same Triceratops, same size. So it was like you could have that Triceratops, the T-Rex comes and eats it, then there's bones. That's what I used to do as a kid.
Cool.
So, it's just, it goes to show you how awesome this movie and franchise was and still is. So I guess that perfectly gets us into why'd you get into collecting them?
I don't know that I knew I was getting into collecting them as just the toy that I wanted the most, and I just, begged my parents to get as many as I could. And I pretty much kept everything that I had since I was a kid, and I thought I had a lot of stuff, and, I started digging it out of my parents' attic again, and you get on, like jptoys.com and stuff, and I'm like, I have a lot, And, I guess with Jurassic World coming back out, and I bought some of the toys and thinking they were pretty good at the time until I actually dug out my old Kenner stuff. And And then I just wanted to buy, some of those more. And then I went back on eBay and was looking up the things that I didn't have. And I started buying them. And I didn't really know the term collector until after I was in it. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm a collector. I'm buying lots of these new stuff and vintage stuff off eBay. So that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it kind of sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Really. It really does. I think when you realize that you're a collector, it's sometimes you realize yourself, or it's someone telling you when they walk into your collection or your room or whatever it is you have your collection that you're displaying, or even if you have it in like plastic bins or something, just showing people, be like, whoa, you're a collector, or wow, you have a really big collection. And that's when it's like, I guess I do. Like,
yeah.
It just sneaks up on you. It just happens.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted, everything, and I still have the old Kenner flip book that came with the Jungle Explorer, and it's all wore out and cracked and white cracks all over it. But you would page through it.
Those toy, toy previews,
and it would show you,
I
series
love collecting
1.
Those.
Oh my God, they're the best, and you can just go through and see I don't have a command compound. Oh, I need the Bush Devil tracker, or you want those new for summer '94 jungle colors, right? Remember that? We never got those toys.
Yeah, we never got those. I waited. I would go to stores left and right, and it's crazy. So now we can just go on JP Toys or our good friend Collect Jurassic, and we'll know what's not being released, what's been canceled. Or our good friend Chris Like Dinos. Chris, we know, like, they announce on their sites on Jurassic Outpost or Jurassic Podcast.
Yeah. If it wasn't for them, a lot of the stuff that gets canceled, like now, I wouldn't know about it. I would still think like, oh yeah, there's going to be a battle damage set with the Indoraptor and Blue coming, and they put it out like this is coming, and then it doesn't, and I really only hear about it from those guys you just mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. They get the news quick, and then we find out. It's cool to have a community like that where we can gather information. Yeah, because then if not, you have your heart out there looking for these things, and you're like, all right, okay, can't wait to get it. It's kind of like when we had the Spinosaurus fiasco.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We were waiting it to get in stores, and a lot of people waited, and that's how people missed out. And I mean, if it wasn't for Brad, I wouldn't have one.
Yeah.
Brad was able to snag one.
That's
for
awesome.
Me. I tried, and unfortunately, I just wasn't able to get one. And then Brad was, hey, I got one for you. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
Because they were popping up every once in a while. And we've had this little fiasco a little bit with that. Man, it's so hard to say that dinosaur's name. Solaris?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Well, I don't want to say it. Someone's yelling right now. Like, that's not how you say it.
Oh, yeah. They're going to yell at me. I don't care, because I've been yelled at before by the way I pronounce certain dinosaur names, like Diplodocus. Some people pronounce it a different name. And I say Dimetrodon. I've heard others say Dimetrodon. Whatever. It's potato.
Yeah.
So we are able to get a lot of this news. Back then we had no idea till years later when, like, I don't know, I think it's probably like from JP Toys forum or something, like, oh no, those were never released.
Get on that website, and I was like blown away with the things that weren't real. Like, what's the one that the Evil Raiders, Scraps or something, or what was his name?
Oh, Scrap Davis.
Yeah, Scrap Davis. And I thought that was real, and I was like blown away. I'm like, that never was released. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Grow up like 20 years thinking it's out there somewhere, and it's not.
Yeah, and the Ultimosaurus from the Chaos Effect. You know how many times I went to like Toys R Us or one of those stores and asked for the people and showed them the picture. Like, this is the one I'm looking for. Like, I love that Chaos Effect line. I know not many people like it, but I love that line. It was so 90s, so crazy. You know what I mean?
It turned me off at the time, but now that I'm older, I've definitely gone back and picked up some of the things that I think are cool. I like a lot of the repainted Lost World sculpts.
Yeah, unfortunately, mine was stolen.
Oh, man.
And I've gathered here and there, and my good friend Matt, he sent me some, and I don't have all the ones I had. Like I'm missing the Chaos Effect Malcolm and the Chaos Effect wow, how am I forgetting his name? Roland Tembo. Missing both of those. Missing the Ultimasaurus hatchling.
Oh man.
And the Omega T-Rex hatchling, which it's a Tyrannosaurus, but it has it's like yellow orange, almost like the Omega.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of that line was very special because it was like it was one of the last lines my grandmother got for me.
Oh.
So, and then it was stolen with a bunch of stuff. And
that stinks.
If people have heard the past podcasts I've been on, I explained how that happened. It's just, you know, but not everything's back, but you know, little by little.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Back.
It's just such a nice reminder too, you know, even if it's not the exact one, you get your hands back on it and just always that memory will be tied to it of your grandma.
Yep, the Velociraptrix, I think that's the way I
think that's how I
pronounce it. Yeah, it's
I've
the
heard it
one with
that
like Archaeopteryx and Velociraptor with the wings and stuff and feathers.
Mm-hmm.
That one I was stolen and I was able to get that one back. Matt was able to send me
awesome.
One. So it was great to have it back in my hands. Yeah. So we know how much you love Jurassic Park. We know why you love Jurassic Park. We know how you got into collecting. How do you rank the films? What's your opinion on the films? We've had 5 now.
Yeah, it's gone up and down over the last year, you know, with the most recent release. But let's start with 1, I guess. Got to go original Jurassic Park. You know, got me into collecting where I'm at today. Just, you know, made me such a fan of Steven Spielberg, you know, growing up. Just love it so much. And then number 2, I got to go Lost World. That just hit me at the right time, at the right age. Got a lot more Lost World toys and stuff and merchandise, posters, watches, cups, you know, games, all kinds of Lost World stuff. I got a lot more of that when I was a kid. And I just love how dark it is and that the dinosaurs are wild and the equipment that the people have to survive and stuff. And I love the darkness of it. And then 3 is where I've gone back and forth, but I think I've settled just slightly ahead is going to be Fallen Kingdom for me at 3. It's a toss up, but I go back to like the darkness. It reminds me of the Lost World. I guess maybe it's not the best comparison because they're not really the same, but they're kind of the same with capturing the dinosaurs and stuff. And I just love the ending of the movie with the Indoraptor. I thought that was so great. Sitting in the theater and just hearing how creepy the thing was crawling over the mansion roof and hearing the floorboards creak and it would shake and you hear the scales and stuff. And that to me is just Jurassic Park. It's what I did when I was a kid. That's how the dinosaurs were creepy like that, you know, playing, creeping around, stalking someone through a house. I liked it a lot, even though I know a lot of people didn't sit right with them. And it's just slightly ahead of 4, I guess would be Jurassic World for me. I love that one so much. It got me back into collecting again, brought me right back into Jurassic Park again. I love how clean that movie is, and we finally get to see the park opened and operating like we always dreamed since we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So many things, and like what's been pointed out, which I didn't really notice at the time, a lot of the scenes in the movie are like reenactments of like the old Kenner cards, like the Pteranodon card, or they're shooting the Pteranodon in the sky, and they have the whole scene made off of that movie.
Oh wow,
yeah,
there's
a lot of stuff in there too. That the Paddock 9.
I gotta rewatch that with the cards in my hand because that brought me right back to that card. I'm like, yeah, I remember that card.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like the card inspired the scene, and it's so great. And
that's
the little
awesome.
Easter eggs too, like the Paddock 9 being the old Kenner Red Rex was JP9. Stuff like that is so cool.
Yep, and that's a constant reminder. Oh, I have her number tattooed on my arm.
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
the JP09 that she has on her leg, because that is my favorite.
Yeah.
T-Rex of all time. I know we've had some amazing ones from Mattel, but this is the attachment of like my childhood to that T-Rex. Nothing could beat it. you know.
I think I think the same way, that in a sterile, just like probably the sculpt is a little bit better from Mattel, but
yeah, definitely.
But nostalgia and just the memories attached to that, it's, to me, I don't get as excited as holding an old Kenner T-Rex, as going to the store and buying a new one. Even though probably kids today would disagree, but because
definitely.
With Star Wars, I'm a little too young to remember the original toys, and I don't think they look that good, and I like the newer ones, but someone that's older than us, those original Kenner toys are it to them, and I can understand how much they love them.
Yeah, because the memories, you pick that toy up and it brings you right back. Me picking up that Red Rex brings me right back to my yard. I can still probably, you can't really, there might be still some dirt inside it somehow from back in 93, 94. Yeah. It's got like red nail polish on its teeth because I put the blood type of look on it. Its arms are permanently glued because they would just pop out, and I didn't want to lose them. Like, I know some friends in the community had armless T-Rexes for a while, and then good old Ted Brothers helped those guys out.
So awesome.
So
yeah. And then what we were talking about, movies, right?
Yes. Tangent.
The last one, that's fine. Where let's see, Jurassic World was 4, and then I guess last Jurassic Park 3. Just for no other reason. It's still a great Jurassic movie. It has a lot of fun sequences in it and stuff. It just, I don't know, didn't sit right with me. Others, yeah, it was one of the first movies when I went to the theater as a kid. It was one of the first movies that I was like, I didn't love it, leaving the theater, which had never happened to me before, which maybe isn't the fault of that movie, just the age I was at the time. But it was, there's still so much great stuff in it, though, like the pterodons and the bird cage and stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah, I think we're about like the same age, and I feel like that was like Jurassic Park 3 came out like that summer, going into high school or leaving middle school.
I think that was my first year, but right before start of high school. Yeah, so it didn't resonate as much, and it's just I don't know, it was very different to the prior two. Prior two had like this seriousness and this grittiness to it. This one seemed more, I don't know, like adventure-y. Even though they're all adventures, but it's just, there's something different about it. Yeah, it wasn't as much like setup with the conversations and stuff that happened in Jurassic Park and Lost World leading up to setting up characters and why they're on the island. It was kind of rushed, I thought.
Yes.
The 20 minutes, 22 minutes in, you're there, and the Spinosaurus is beating up the plane. But there's a lot of good stuff in it, and it was neat at the time to see how it was coming to light that the Velociraptors were probably feathered, so they put some quills on the back of them. That was cool. Excellent Velociraptor sound in that movie, probably better than the first two.
The dinosaur designs, Stan Winston just outdid himself again. My favorites are always going to be the tiger stripe, but just the design overall, like that very bird-like eye.
Yeah.
The red and the other one that's yellow, but it has like a little like pin pupil instead of like the snake or lizard-like like slice.
Like a cat eye, I guess, right?
Yeah, kind of like that. It's more lizard-like. Birds, if you look at them, they don't have that. They have that little pin pupil or like big pupil lens. And they did that with those raptors. Made them look a lot more creepier, I think.
Very dark but yeah, it's good. I've grown to like it more over time since then, but other things too, like we keep talking about the toys, and I didn't really pick up a lot of toys at the time from it. I didn't like the sculpts, and I didn't like the figures getting smaller.
Yes, me too. And it's weird because now we have the Mattel ones that are smaller, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works, but I agree.
I don't know how that works either. It's weird because now those JP3 figures go right with them.
Yeah.
Now you can play out scenes from Jurassic Park 3 with them and have the Spinosaur.
We were just pre-high school kids, I guess, too, stuck up.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. You're so used to one thing, and then So, do you have a favorite piece of your collection?
I
I know that your collection is growing every day. I see it on Instagram. So,
well, my favorite thing, I guess, like if you could go and say that, what are you gonna grab if from your collection? If your house is on fire, you can save one thing.
Yes,
It'd probably be
that's a perfect scenario.
Probably be my bull Rex from the Lost World that I actually got for Christmas that year, and that was my first big dinosaur from Kenner. I never had the red Rex as a kid. I always used the young Rex as the T-Rex when I was playing, and it was so awesome. Those huge feet and the amazing sculpted detail on the bottom of the feet, and he used to make it stomp people like it was Carter from the Lost World. And just the movie accurate sounds, and it was so taken back as like a little kid, and that T-Rex roar and movie authentic, and I still have it, and I have more bull Rexes that are in better shape, but that one is mine from when I was a kid, and it's not the most valuable thing, but sentimental value through the roof, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I got the bull Rex as an adult. Actually, I would say maybe like 10 11 years ago.
Cool.
I never had it before. I had a friend that had it, and actually he wasn't even my friend. He was just some kid I knew from school, and actually went to hang out at his house because I wanted to play with the T-Rex.
Yeah, I did that. I had a friend who had the red Rex when I was a kid, and I would go over and play with his red Rex, and there was like some rumor or something that amongst the other kids that he wanted to sell it for $5 or something. I remember taking like $5 with, like I got too chicken to offer him money for this red Rex and just went home without it.
Oh man. Yeah. So, it's a great toy. The Bull Rex is very sought after. It's still very sought after. I think the T-Rex that beats it out is the Colossal from Mattel. Because other than that, no T-Rex has ever even stepped to its...
Yeah, it was the biggest one there for 20-something years, right?
Mm-hmm. They redid it with the Omega T-Rex.
Yeah, I gotta get my hands on that, but it's so darn expensive.
Oh, I love that one. I don't have the Thrasher.
I have the Thrasher. That's cool.
Ah,
yeah.
You got the one I don't have. Yeah,
we'll put ours together, and we'll have a complete collection.
Awesome. Yes, let's do that. I was gonna say, they also did a Toys R Us exclusive of the Bull Rex that was retooled. I don't know if you've seen that one before.
Yeah.
It's like gray and orange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you have that one?
No, I don't. It's on my list, and I was at a toy show last summer, and it was there, and the guy wanted like $75 for it, and I'm just like, I can't, too much.
Yeah, I caved and bought one for like, I think it was around there. It had to be around 70 or 60 something. You know, I saw it on eBay. I kind of like offered the guy like a certain amount of money, and I was like, I'm taking it. I really want that Rex. Yeah, and I
sometimes you just gotta break down
3 versions. Yeah, because it doesn't pop up on eBay that often at all.
It's always like rare. 80, 90, 100 and something bucks.
Mm-hmm. When it does, it's very expensive.
The most I ever spent on an old toy recently was I spent like $70 on the Demon Carnotaur.
Oh wow, and you got that for cheap then.
Yeah,
because that thing goes for way more than
that. And I was missing the wound piece, and Ted made one for me, and now it's complete and looks cool.
I got one off a Jurassic lot. Like it was a box full of stuff. Like they used to do a lot of these in eBay before, you know, eBay sellers wisened up to the craze for Jurassic toys.
Yeah.
They would sell just a box of random Jurassic toys. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm selling this box or whatever. And I can see, just knowing, because I knew it was in there, I can see the demon's tail in the box. And I'm like, okay. And I got the whole thing, like, it had the Allosaur from the medical set.
Oh, yeah.
It had the demon in it. It had a bunch of grants and other stuff or whatever. But all that for, like, less than $40.
Wow.
Yeah, this was a while ago.
I wish I would have got into it back when you were, before Jurassic World, but I was doing other stuff, but yeah, the prices are so high now on eBay.
Yeah, they were like okay back then. They weren't so crazy, but they still fetched a good price, if you knew about the toys, a lot of people didn't. they were just selling old stuff. It's probably like parents probably just selling stuff like, hey, take this box of my son's stuff or whatever.
Yeah, I got a good deal last fall. I don't know if you saw on Instagram. I was I'm always on those apps, like the local selling apps, like OfferUp or Let Go or something. And I got a whole box. And when you said that about seeing the head of the demon sparked my memory. I was looking at the picture and I could just see the tail of the juvenile T-Rex from the Lost World one that was like an exclusive.
Oh, the green?
Yeah, and it was the whole box, and it had like it had a bull T-Rex with it. It had the medical set with the Allosaurus complete. It's only missing like one of those little tools with it. And
I'm missing all three of those tools.
Yeah.
I have most of it. I don't have the tools.
But yeah, I got the whole thing for like $60. It came with like an RC car set, like Roland, Nick Van Owen, Screaming Raptor, the Slashing Claws Raptor from the first one, the brown one, like all this stuff. I was like, this has got to be like in this today, like a super deal. I was so ecstatic.
Wow, dude, that's crazy. That's a crazy good deal, and that's like those dream treasures,
I know.
like those things I hope to find one of those. It's like you ever seen maybe on like Reddit or on JB Toys or just a random post on Instagram or Twitter, somebody finding like a Red Rex at Goodwill for like $2 or something. That's like that's.
I want it to be
like
real so bad, but sometimes part of me doesn't believe it.
Yeah. I had my brother-in-law found a great working Super Nintendo system, like the original Super Nintendo system, for like less than $3 at a Goodwill.
Wow.
Like
there's never anything good when I go in. It's like there's too many like people that pick through it. I guess it's like they know when the stuff goes out and they'll go on and pick the bags before anyone can get there. Sell it on eBay. I guess
that happens to me with Goodwill. That happens to me with Target and Walmart. Whenever I get to it, whoever's hunting around my area gets this stuff before I do all the time.
Yeah. It's the worst.
That actually hunting. What are you actually actively hunting right now, if you are?
Well, right now I've kind of chilled out on the Mattel stuff simply because I didn't place any pre-orders on anything, and like my Walmarts and my Targets have drastically cut back on shelf space, and I haven't gotten any of the new Rorovores, none of the new attack packs.
I just keep pushing all the old stuff.
Yeah, a lot, like not half, probably like 90% of the Walmarts in my area don't even sell Rorovores anymore. So I don't know where I'm going to get them from, because Targets are like behind a couple months from what Walmart had.
What's sad about the stores around my area? It's only the Targets that sell humans. The Walmarts don't
same
sell
here.
humans around. Where I've been to so many Walmarts, I think, and I honestly say like 6 in different where my mom lives, and it's like an hour away from where I live, and both same thing. There's no humans sold at those Walmarts. I don't know what's going on. It's only Target that I would pick up a human if I have to get one.
Yeah, it broke my heart that they got rid of the Legacy line humans at Target. I picked up a bunch of them on clearance, but I was hoping for more characters, like a Lex or Hammond or Gennaro or.
So was I. The only hope we have is customizers like Ted that did that Lex and stuff like
They're
that.
so freaking good.
Yep. Oh yeah, I've seen the process. It's really great. I see behind the scenes, and I'm just kind of like, I can't wait till people see this.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. But yeah, did you hear any of the new news of like the battle damaged Spinosaurus?
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I did actually
Brachiosaur coming out.
Yeah, I want 2, but I don't think I can afford 2 Brachiosaur. But I'm excited, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna be buying online, and I should get on that because they're not going to be in stores, I don't think. Which I was slow to realize.
I did pre-order the IREX.
Oh, cool.
Indominus. I did have that one on pre-order, so yeah, I mean, and I have like I think also the Quetzalcoatlus and the Margosaurus, because the Margosaurus is a must-have.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have many sauropods. So having a sauropod is really cool. and I want that little Mosasaurus or whatever. Mosasaurus.
Mhm.
It's not a sauropod. It's a prosauropod.
Mhm.
It's like a pre-sauropod. Like the ones.
Yeah, I've been
that
hunting for
turn
that
into
one
something.
recently.
Oh, I want
just
that
and
one.
then there's, like I said, there's no new.
I can't find that one either, man.
And
I know the East Coast is getting them because Ted actually got one the other day.
Oh, good.
So they should be arriving in our area. Just the sad thing is, like, can we get to them before anyone else does? if it's for kids, that's fine. But if it's like one of the scalpers on eBay, they're already on eBay. They're selling them for like $90.
They're ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm
they'll
like,
show up
no,
eventually.
no. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I've seen the Cerulus or whatever dinosaur. I got two. I have one from Amazon. I have one from Target. I was able to get two. I love that thing.
Yeah.
And I actually did a YouTube video on it, and I'll explain why I love this dinosaur.
Cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so they're popping up. I've seen like 2 of them in the last 2 days up at places with the green Jurasaurus and.
But they're popping up
Yeah.
again. I mean, now in stores, so people are going to be able to get them. I was a little worried it was going to be kind of fiasco because it's a very cool sculpt and very awesome coloring.
Yeah.
Really cool little dinosaur. I love that they're throwing in all these like new species and species I've never even heard
as I was
about,
going to say, is it bad that I'm learning from Mattel dinosaurs that I didn't know existed?
Right? It's cool because then I'll go and actually look up the fossils and look up the actual dinosaur itself, and some of them, they're way off. The sculpt is not really there, but some of them, it's like really cool. Like the mosasaur, it looks like a little mosasaur, like what it's supposed to look like, and Cerulus, whatever. It looks like that thing too. You know, it's really cool. Like we said before, the Jurasaurus is a little weird, but
yeah,
you look at the real one. The face, I think the face is all right. It's just the body, the hunchback type of thing. You know. So, being that you are a collector, being that you are, that you have this collection of dinosaurs, both Kenner and Mattel, not just Mattel, because I know a lot of the younger listeners and whatnot, they don't have much of the Kenner stuff because they weren't around for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be a good judgment on this. What do you think, Mattel or Kenner or both?
I didn't realize both could be an option.
Anything on this show?
All right.
This show is a free for all.
I'm interested to see what younger people would say because they might disagree, and I'm gonna go Kenner is where I'm gonna go. I was there when they came out, and they had great sculpts. Generally, though, Kenner was kind of the movie accurate ones were the better sculpts, and species, some of them that weren't in the film weren't as good or kind of goofy looking, but they had the real feel skin. I don't know, the nostalgia baked into Kenner. I'm gonna go Kenner. But I could see, younger people saying maybe Mattel is better because I think they're kind of nailing it on the sculpts for dinosaurs that didn't make it into the film. But you know that Mattel's lacking on the electronics a lot. Like I need a electronic screaming Velociraptor out of Mattel.
Oh, definitely.
Which was just great stuff that we got. Like the Snapjaw Raptor there from the Lost World. That's like the best sound.
Yeah, Exactly. We need something like that. We need like a electronic blue.
Yeah.
We need an electronic blue, because if they're gonna implement into a Raptor, it's gonna be blue.
Yeah, I would love that. They're going so small with them though, because like Kenner's electronic ones were bigger, so I don't know if that has something to do with it.
If you compare both the Raptors, just the regular line Raptors to the Kenner regular line, the Kenner ones are huge.
Yeah,
they're big. They're big Raptors. But
yeah, I guess I'd fall on Kenner for the reasons I said.
Good choice. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Kenner still has it for me. Mattel's doing an incredible job too. It's a little difficult with some certain things, but where they're going, what they've been doing, it's not like me saying, "Hey, Kenner or Hasbro," and the answer.
Hasbro.
If we're gonna go Jurassic Park 3, Pteranodons? Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
They did an incredible job with those Pteranodons, and I don't mind the animatronic Spinosaurus. I have it.
Oh, cool.
I love that thing. You know.
Yeah, I've tried to get one, and I lost out in some auctions that just went too high, but maybe someday.
Yeah, they go for a lot. Go for a lot now.
At least I got my Mattel
I think they're
one.
going a little bit down now. I think because of the Mattel Spinosaurus,
Yeah.
everybody wants that one more.
Yep.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts on your collecting, on future collecting prospects, your Instagram page? What do you want to tell the Jurassic fans?
I don't know. I just I don't know if I've told people before, but the reason I started the Instagram account is because I don't have a collection room at the moment. I'm in a house I'm remodeling, and I have a spot that will be a collection room eventually. But the Instagram is just an excuse for me to dig them out of plastic tubs and take some pictures and pose them. It's fun to just give me a reason to handle them and get them out. But and I'm just super grateful how welcoming the community is and how many people interact with my pictures and talk to me on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. It's great. I talk to kids that are way younger than me, people my age, people older than me. Everyone is so positive and welcoming, and it's great. I'm just thankful to everyone who clicks like on my pictures or talks to me in a direct message or tweet or whatever.
Yeah, this community is very welcoming, very great. They're very everybody's welcomes new members into the community with open arms. You love dinosaurs, we love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You love Jurassic Park, we love Jurassic Park. There's not much there can be toxicity here and there. I've seen it, but
It's few and far between,
not
I think.
as much. Yeah. There's other fandoms that are really, really toxic sometimes.
Yeah.
But this one has been really nice, and this is what this segment's all about. Trying to spotlight a lot of the collectors that I talk to online, and some that I don't even talk to them in the future. Hopefully, I get them on the show as well.
Yeah.
The whole Amber Finds is finding these pieces of amber, these toys, these collection like treasures, and just when I created this Hunters and Gatherers, I started with the show with Ted, and it's great to talk, to see what makes you click, what brings you into this collecting world. Why do you do this?
Yeah, it's great
Why
to get down and personal. So thank you. I really enjoy listening. I enjoy the way you bring out nostalgia and personalisms and stuff with guests, and it just makes it a lot of fun. I listen to the podcast. It gets me through my workday, so thank you.
Yeah, I do the same. I drive to work listening to the podcast, and it just reminds me of how awesome this community is, and how awesome Jurassic Park is, dude.
Yeah.
But Dave, where can these Jurassic fanatics find you on the internet, interwebs?
Let's do most of my work over on Instagram, Jurassic Dave 93, and I also have a Twitter. I tweet less often than I'm on Instagram, and yeah, so like I said, send me a message, hit me up. I'll definitely talk to you about anything you want. If it's Jurassic Park or Star Wars or whatever else people are into, it'd be fun.
All right, there you have it, folks. You can find them also on interactive CD-ROM. All right, guys, Jurassic fans, that was Hunters and Gatherers. We'll see you on the next one. And if you're out there hunting, hunt wisely, hunt safely. There's always a T-Rex around that corner in the toy store. All right.
Thank you so much for listening to the 192nd episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. Of course, a big thanks to Jay for returning once again to the podcast. I always feel so nostalgic when Jay is around. It's amazing. And I know he hasn't gotten a chance to produce a lot here recently, but the stuff that he does create is always awesome. I always love it, and it's always worth a listen. And like I said, it makes me nostalgic for, Jurassic Park, the old days of fandom, the beginnings of this podcast and everything like that. So it's always good to have him back around. And I think Hunters and Gatherers is a nice branch off of Amber Finds. And I think it only had one other guest, which I believe was Ted Brothers, and that branched off into its own segment as well. But it's great to finally open up that segment again and hear from Jurassic Dave this time. And Dave is a great guy. If you don't follow his stuff over on Instagram, that's where I follow him the most, and I see all of his great pictures and everything. Always some great content over there, so be sure to give him a follow at Jurassic Dave 93. Thank you so much, Dave, for joining us here today. It's been great having you. But now it's that time where we go ahead and read some reviews from you guys, the listeners, because you guys need some spotlight as well for taking the time to head to Apple Podcasts. And you can just do that via the app and just go in there, leave a quick 5-star review, and write some words if you want to. And if you do write those words, we're going to be reading them right here on the show. So make sure to go do that, and we'll have some fun reading these together. So the first one comes from DTM Land, and it says, "Great podcast. Best way to keep up on Jurassic news, spoiler-free. Also, just a fun podcast." So that's the review right there. I like that. I think that's fun to hear, because we do try to keep, for the most part, as much as we possibly can, we try to keep it spoiler-free until we indicate so. And, going forward, I guess here, we're in the middle of, a lull where we aren't getting a ton of information as far as the next movie is concerned. But, hey, we've got a new animated show coming. We've got some Lego stuff coming later this year. So, and then the movie in 2021, there's going to be spoilers abound. So, we're going to try to keep this as spoiler-free in the main episodes. And then I think maybe going forward, we'll probably push if it comes to it where there's a big spoiler section that we should be discussing, we'll either do like a bonus episode or push it to the end of the episode and after the credits roll, after the show's done, so you can choose to stop listening and we'll pick it back up and say, spoiler warning, here you go, we're going to talk about some spoilers. But there's going to be some interesting stuff, in the near future. Who knows if we're going to get spoilers as far as the TVs are concerned, the TV shows are concerned and stuff like that. So I'm interested to discuss it, of course, because as a podcast, I think we need to. That's the reason we're here, is to discuss and to conjure up and to think about all these details. So that's what we're going to be doing. So in the future, we'll save it for the appropriate time to discuss those things. But thank you, DTM Land. That was a nice little review there. We also have that was my phone. I was about to grab the mouse. Whoops, wrong thing. Another review, which is, I think it's brand new, actually. And it says, this is from Gordon. And it says, sweet, sweet ear candy. Oh, you're starting it off great here. So, Gordon says, before this podcast, I was merely a man. But since I've discovered this podcast, I am now a man who listens to the Jurassic Park podcast. Oh, you guys have sculpted me to the man that I am today. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Thank you, Gordon. That was that got me good, and I feel like you did that on purpose just so I could fall apart here while reading it. That is pretty awesome. I love that. You were merely a man, and now you're just a man. You're still a man. You haven't changed. You weren't a boy and then who changed into a man. You were just a man who now listens to the Jurassic Park podcast. So I don't know. Is that a good thing for you as a man? I hope so. I hope it's a good thing for you. So I am eternally grateful that you, Gordon, are listening to this episode. Oh, actually, I don't know that, to be honest, that you're listening to this podcast at some point on 6/7 when you wrote this review. So thank you, Gordon. I really appreciate you taking the time to write that review. And for everybody else out there, head to Apple Podcasts. You could be read here in a comical fashion like I just did there. So I'm excited, though. I'm excited to go through these reviews each and every week to hear what you guys are saying, whether it's good or bad. So I'm excited by it. But thank you both, and we'll read some more next time. But for everybody else out there, I hope you have an amazing week here coming up. It's feeling a lot like summer now. So you know what I want you to do? You know what would be great this week? If you just got off the internet, just get out of here. Go. Stop listening. This is the end of the show. Just get out there, go have some fun outside, experience the world outside of Twitter, outside of Instagram and Facebook and podcasts. Just go have some fun with your friends, your family, everything out there. And I don't want to hear from you. Just if I hear from you this week, then that means you didn't adhere to my advice here at the end of the show. I'm giving you guys some great advice. So go. Get out of here. Just go. Have some great fun out there. I'm excited. It is Jurassic June. So I know I said last week to share around everybody's amazing work, whether you're creating some awesome stuff for Jurassic June or you're just sharing other people's awesome work for Jurassic June. But it is June. Go out there, have some fun. Find some dinosaur stuff, some Jurassic stuff to do outdoors. Go visit a museum and showcase all that stuff that's out there. Or go to one of those like dinosaur animatronic parks that are all around the country or the world. They're always out there. Go experience those. Celebrate your Jurassic fandom outdoors this week. Have some good fun. I don't want to hear from you until next week when you're posting all your great outdoor pictures. I can't wait to see them, and I'll see you guys next week. Roll the tape.
Saddle up. Let's get this movable feast underway.
Please give us a follow on Twitter at Jurassic Park Pod and myself at Brad Jost. Also on Facebook and Instagram at Jurassic Park Podcast. Don't forget to join the Jurassic Park Podcast group on Facebook. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, our website, or wherever else podcasts are found. So please be sure to subscribe. Also, don't miss our toy hunts and reviews, in-depth bonus content, live streams, gameplay, events and theme park coverage, and so much more on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We will read your reviews at the end of every episode, so please be sure to spare no expense. Don't miss us on the web at JurassicParkPodcast.com, where you'll find today's episode show notes, wonderful articles, bios from our contributors, and so much more. If you want to get a hold of us, you can fill out the contact form on our website or email us, JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. We're always looking for new segments, contributors, mailbag submissions, or anybody who just wants to say hello. Feel free to call our voicemail line at any time to leave us a message. That number is 732-825-7763. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
5 minutes. Drop what you're doing and leave now.